Hey guys, welcome to A Little Bit of Monica. I am so excited to be going into the month of March with so much fun coming up, and honestly, my TBR is about to be completely insane. So let me share with you some of the books that I plan to have on my TBR for March. There are going to be some book club books, there's going to be some buddy reads, and of course, I am participating in this year's Realmathon hosted by Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy. So I have a TBR that I'm putting together for this based on the team that I'm on, Team Shadows. And so let me get into some of the books that I plan to read this month. Starting off with a buddy read. I have been buddy reading with my friend Michelle for months, and we actually started buddy reading the ACOTAR series back in December, and we just wrapped that up about a week and a half ago. So we decided to dive straight in, and we are starting the Throne of Glass series. We actually started it this week, but we will be continuing this series throughout the month of March, and however long it takes us to get through. We typically read like 100 pages a day, so this is going to keep us occupied for quite a while. But having just started the series, I'm really excited to get into it because I know so many people love this so much. There is just an incredible amount of hype around this author and around this series, and I'm just really excited to get in on it and find out what it's all about. So far I have started this book and I'm really enjoying it, and now I get to see what the rest of the books will look like throughout the month of March. I have no idea how many of these we'll get through or if I'll even be super consistent with it because I have so many other books that I plan to read, but this is going to be kind of an ongoing project throughout the month of working through the Throne of Glass series. Moving on to some book clubs that I'll be participating in. The first book club I want to talk about is the one that I co-host with Lexi from Books with Lexi and with Michelle as well, and that is the Pyramid Book Club, and our March pick is First Sly Wins by Ashley Elston. This is a thriller where I think the cover is glow in the dark. It's like super fun. That's not related to the plot at all. It's just a fun addition to the book. This is a thriller that I think is going to have to do with some identity lying and protection of identity, and I'm not quite sure exactly what this is about, but I'm really excited because I've heard some really good things about this book so far from other people who've read it, and the fact that we're reading it for the book club means we're going to have a great time being able to chat about it, whether we like it or love it. It's going to be a really fun conversation, so I am excited to get to this one in March. The next book up is for the Spicykatz book club hosted by Kitty from Spicykatz Reads, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I am super excited to be getting into this one. I've had it on my shelf for a couple of months and have been looking at it, and I know there's a sequel, and I just really want to be able to get into this because I've heard some really amazing things. It sounds like it's kind of like a cozy fantasy. I might be completely misinterpreting, but from what I've heard, it's kind of cozy, and I have had a history of liking the cozy fantasy style, so I really want to give this one a try, and because it is for Kitty's book club, I'm really excited to be able to participate in that, so this is the perfect opportunity to be able to get into this one. And the third and final book club buddy reading type of book that I plan to read for March is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Now, I have already read this book, and so this will be a reread for me, but Lexi from Books with Lexi has a book club within her Patreon, and she is going to be leading a reading through all of the Hunger Games books. And we already did a watch through of the Hunger Games movies. We didn't get to watch the prequel yet, but we watched the other movies all together, and it was so much fun. Just getting to talk about these books and movies is such a fun time, and so I'm excited to be able to get back into this book because I have already read it once. This one might be kind of like at the tail end of my TBR because I have so many other books on this list. I don't know how I'm possibly going to get to them all, but this one is on there for sure if I get a chance to reread, or if it fits into a prompt for Realmathon, I might try to squeeze it in as well. But for now, this is going on the list because I'm excited to get to it and be able to talk to everybody about these books because I love the series and I think these books are wonderful. And I read this a couple years ago. I didn't love all of it, but it's just the world. The world is so good, and I'm really excited that we're going to have the opportunity to read this all together as a group. And now finally, the bulk of my March TBR is going to be taken up by books that I'll be reading for Realmathon. So Realmathon is this month-long readathon that Cassidy has come up with, and it is absolutely going to be a blast. And part of this readathon is that you join one of 4 teams, and you as a team are going to be competing against the other teams, and each team is trying to read as many books as they can that fit a certain number of prompts. There is so much information about this readathon, and I will link Cassidy's announcement video that has all the information that you could possibly need about this readathon. But essentially, I am on the team Shadows because I love Lexi and Mel, who are the co-hosts for our team. Being on this team means that we have a couple of special prompts that give our team bonus points. So I will be picking books for my TBR. There's going to be way more here on this list than I could possibly read within the month, but I'm going to pick out as many books as I can that fit the prompts so that I have plenty of options during the month. I'm a mood reader and I really want to be able to just kind of pick books up as I want to read them. So I'm going to kind of have a whole list of options and we're going to go from there. But being on Team Shadows, our two main bonus prompts, there's like a whole list of prompts with different like settings and types of tropes and things like that that you can abide by to get points, but each team has these two bonus prompts that get you extra points. And for Team Shadows, we get bonus points if we have a book that has a building on the cover or a book that has a majority black colored cover. And these are in some ways easier and some ways harder than I would have expected. The building on the cover thing is a little bit tricky, but the first one on the list actually is the book club book I mentioned before. I will be reading First Lie Wins in March anyway for our book club, and it does have a building on the cover. It is a very, very clearly designed house on the cover image. So this is kind of an example of building on the cover. So this is the first one on my list that I will definitely be reading because of the book club. But I already went through my shelves and did pick up 4 more books that also have buildings on the covers that are going to be options that I can use for later in the month. And the first one is And Then He Kept Her by Joshua Moling. I have no idea what this book is about. I think it's a thriller, probably. I'm honestly not sure where I even got this from, but because it has this little like cabin right in the middle, it's going to count for building on the cover. So this one immediately went on my list. The second book on the list is Killman Creek by Rachel Kane. I read Stillhouse Lake a couple of months ago, absolutely loved it, and this is the sequel to it. And there is, of course, a little cabin right in the middle, so I am going to add this one onto my list. But the last 2 books on my list that are buildings on the cover are also black covers, so they're going to count for both of my bonus prompts, which is just extra reason to have these on the list. The first one is Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates. I am a huge Darcy Coates fan, and honestly, I just wanted an excuse to put one of her books on my list, but also the fact that it has a building and the cover is mostly black, and the cover also incorporates the back as well, so this one fits perfectly into both prompts, and I just love this author, so I know this is kind of like a guaranteed successful read. I have not disliked anything that I've read from her so far, and I've read quite a few. So this one seems like it's a good choice. And then the final book that I have for the buildings on the cover prompt is No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. I have not read anything from this author, but I do have, what's the other one? What Lies in the Woods. I have that one on my shelf too, and I haven't read either one. But this has a building on the cover and it is majority black. So this one is immediately also going onto my TBR. Again, will I be able to get through all of these? Who knows, but having the option is certainly a benefit for me. And now, because I have so many other books on my shelves, and a lot of them also have black covers, I decided that I was going to go through my shelves and pick out some more. So let me just take a look here and see if I have any other black cover books that I think might work well for this readathon. Okay, so Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. This book is so pretty. It is mostly black, so I'm gonna put this on my list. I think I might also try buddy reading this one. I'm not quite sure, but I met Chloe Gong a while back and I really, really liked hearing her talk about this book. It sounds really interesting. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it, but I'm gonna add it to my list because it's got that black cover and I believe it is like an urban fantasy possibly. And because Realmathon is kind of founded in the ideas of fantasy, this seems like a really good idea to have on the list, at least as an option. Ooh. Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. This book is mainly black on the cover, so I'm gonna throw this one in. It's also very short compared to some of these other ones on my list, so this is definitely going on and actually has a higher chance of me wanting to read it because it's not gonna take as long to get through as some of the other ones. So we're gonna add this one to the list too. Okay. Edenville by Sam Rebelin. I don't know anything about this other than the fact that I've heard it's really weird. It is a horror and it's got this very simple black cover, but it also has, actually, that might be a building in the middle. Do we want to count that as a building on the cover? I might. So then this would count for black cover because although the sunflower is very yellow, the main background is very black and the back is also black. So I'm going to count this as black and I might even count it for building. So this is going to go on my list, even though, again, I don't have a clue what this is about, but we're going to throw it on the list at least as an option. Okay, this one is actually mostly like gray and black, but I think it's going to count because I know Cassidy had mentioned that the like shades of black can also be reasonably used. But this one, I don't know a whole lot about. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. It's been on my shelf for quite a while, but I haven't read anything about it. I think it's a thriller. That's about all I've got. But again, we're going based on color here. This looks like a really creepy cover. So again, we're just gonna throw it on the pile. And lastly, this shelf was really helpful today. We're gonna go with The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have not read this. It's one of those books that I feel like I should have read by now, but haven't. So we're gonna add this to the list as well. I think this is fantasy about a circus, obviously. And I don't know, it sounds really fun. I remember reading the synopsis a while back before I bought it. I like to buy books and have no idea what they're about, but this one I remember actually reading up on a little bit, and it sounded really interesting. And I've heard good things about this author as well, although I haven't read from this author before. So we are going to add this one to the list as well. Okay, so I just added 5 new books to my black cover list for Realmathon. And I think that's gonna be good enough for right now because I already feel like I'm in a little bit over my head, but I don't know. Do we think I can get through all these books? I mean, I have these 5 plus these 4 plus 4 more that were for book clubs and buddy reading. And that doesn't even take into account all the Throne of Glass series, which I think, I don't know, are some of those going to be counting as black? I'm not quite sure. I'd have to double check. But anyway, I think that's all I'm going to add onto this TBR, because as it is, I don't know what I'm getting myself into with this anyway. So that's going to be the end of that list. And that is also going to wrap up my March TBR in general. But those are the ones that I'm planning for right now. I am very excited for all of the buddy reads and book club books and all of those things that are going to be such like group activities that are it just makes reading so much more fun. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy. But if you stay tuned, you'll be able to see my progress throughout the month and see if I'm able to get through even half of these books. With all of that, we come to the end of my very overachieving March TBR. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to try to get through all of these books, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna read as much as I can because Realmathon's gonna be so much fun. If you aren't signed up, make sure that you do because you don't want to miss this event. Cassidy is incredible, has come up with some really, really wonderful ideas and prompts, and it's just gonna be a really fun month. You don't want to miss out. So make sure that you sign up. Make sure you join Team Shadows so that you can read all of your black covered books, all of your building covered books, and so that you can be on the team that's obviously going to win. Make sure you sign up now, and also make sure that you are subscribed to Cassidy and everybody else that I mentioned in this video because they make some incredible, incredible content that you absolutely don't want to miss out on. I would also really appreciate if you wanted to subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I have coming. I've been working so hard at getting some new videos for you, and I'm really excited to see everything that's going to come. So please consider joining me along this journey. I would also love to hear if you have any thoughts on the books I've talked about in this video. If you've heard of them or you are also considering reading them, I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your excitement. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope that I'll see you in the next one. Bye!